Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to December's Pokemon Spotlight video. As promised in the last one, in this video I will be spotlighting a brand new Generation 8 Pokemon. There are a plethora of Galarian Evolution and Galarian Form Pokemon that I would really like to go over, but for this first video following the release of Pokemon Sword and Shield, I wanted to focus on a brand new Generation 8 Pokemon. So here we are, and that Pokemon is Falinks. As usual, before I get started, I ask that you please leave a like down below because it really helps a small YouTuber like me, and if you like my content, please subscribe. So as I mentioned before, Falinks is a brand new Generation 8 Pokemon, and it wasn't one of those Pokemon that was shown to us prior to the game's release. Unless you looked at the leaks, chances are the first time you saw it was on Route 8 coming out of one of those little dens. And everyone's reaction to seeing it for the first time was something along the lines of, "What is that thing? What are you?" A wild what? A wild Falinks? And then we were all trying to guess its typing as we battled it. I thought it was going to be either like a bug or steel or dark type or some combination of those three, but turns out it's a pure fighting type. This thing is tripping me out, man. That's super effective. What is its type? Is it dark? What is it? Falinks also comes with a very interesting signature move called No Retreat. No Retreat raises all of its stats, but it also makes it so that Falinks cannot escape from battle. No Retreat can only be used once unless Falinks already can't escape because of something else like Mean Look or Arena Trap. In this case, No Retreat can be used multiple times to create multiple stat boosts. The first time I saw it use that move, I thought it said that I could no longer escape. And even though I'm not a competitive battler, that's where my mind immediately went to, and I started thinking how broken a move that would be in competitive battling. But since it's Falinks who can't escape, it does make that move a little bit trickier when it comes to competitive battling. Speaking of battling, let's take a look at Falinks' stats. It doesn't evolve from or into anything, so what you see is what you get, and what you get isn't that bad. It has a base stat of 470, with its attack and defense being its highest stats at 100 each. Low special attack isn't really an issue, but its low HP and special defense could potentially be an issue if it's battling against a special attacker. However, if Falinks can get off a couple of no retreats, it could be difficult to take down, and hopefully for Falinks, it won't have to switch out after using no retreat, because it won't be able to. It's probably obvious, but the inspiration behind Falinks' design is very much militarian. And yes, militarian is a real word, I looked it up. The Pokemon Sword Pokédex entry says, 5 of them are troopers and 1 is the brass. The brass's orders are absolute. In military jargon, the brass refers to a very high-ranking officer. The term comes from the pins that US and English Army officers wear on their collars to designate their rank. These pins are typically made of brass, even if they have an outward appearance of gold or silver. As far as its design goes, Falinks is based on a group of soldiers in the Phalanx formation in a single file line. A phalanx is typically a rectangular military formation composed of troops wielding spears, lances, pikes, and other pole weapons. The earliest instance of this formation also included long shields which could cover the entire body. Does anybody remember the scene from Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, where the orcs were marching up the ramp to the gate at Helm's Deep? This is an example of the phalanx formation, similar to what would have been seen in ancient times, granted without the pole weapons. Obviously, this is not a formation you would see in modern military, but it was a very common formation in ancient Greece and even ancient Egypt. In fact, the earliest recorded use of this formation dates all the way back to the 25th century BC in ancient Sumeria, which is now southern Iraq. The first known use of the word phalanx to describe this formation is by the Greek author Homer, who you probably recognize as the author of the Greek poems The Odyssey and the Iliad. The phalanx formation remained a staple in ancient warfare up until the conquests of Alexander the Great in the 4th century BC, when it is said to have reached its peak. After that, the phalanx formation began to have a very slow decline, slow being the key word there. That slow decline is linked to the rise of the Roman Empire and the fact that they had success in breaking through its defenses, even though at times they employed the tactic themselves. As I said, it was a slow decline, so it continued to be used for a good while longer. In fact, the Schiltron, which is a formation utilized by William Wallace and Robert the Bruce in the First War for Scottish Independence, is considered a type of phalanx formation, but without the shields. This was around the late 13th and early 14th centuries AD or CE or whatever initials you like to use. So Falinks, the Pokemon, takes its inspiration very heavily from military history, where a lot of swords and shields were involved. Well, enough of the history lesson. There is one more thing I wanted to talk about Falinks, and I made a brief mention of it early in the video, and that is its competitive viability. Now, I'm not a competitive player by any means. I'm no expert when it comes to competitive battling at all. So I'm going based off of what Smogon says. Apparently, Falinks was OU when it first came out, but has since been moved down to UU. As I mentioned earlier, No Retreat is a very limiting move in competitive. Even with a +1 special defense, a special sweeper could still potentially OKO it. A Pokemon that I saw mentioned a few times that Falinks struggles against is Toxapex. Offensively, Falinks being a pure fighting type also means only one stab move. Its base stats are okay, but really too low for OU standards. It's only worthwhile once you use No Retreat, and given its relatively low speed, there's a good chance that Falinks may get attacked first and take a lot of damage in the process. It seems like there was a lot of hype around Falinks when the games first came out and people, first started using it in competitive battling, but it didn't take long for people to realize that Falinks really isn't that viable in the OU tiers. Falinks, however, does seem to fit in well in UU and the other lower ranked tiers. No Retreat, Close Combat, Poison Jab, and Zen Headbutt is recommended as a good moveset for Falinks in competitive battling. If using Falinks in double battles, it is recommended that its ally, ideally Grimmsnarl, be used to set up Reflect and Light Screen in order to give Falinks the time to set up a No Retreat and potentially sweep the opposing team. As I was reading about Falinks' competitive viability, it really didn't take long for me to realize that there is a lot that goes into competitive battling. And like I said before, I'm no expert when it comes to competitive battling, so I'm basically just going off what I saw on Smogon, and for anything else regarding Falinks in the competitive side, I'm going to leave that to the competitive battling experts. Well, that's all I have for you this time. I really want to thank you guys for watching this video, and I will be doing another Pokemon Spotlight video next month, so be thinking about what Generation 8 Pokemon you would like to see me spotlight, and leave a comment down below. Until then, please leave a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.